A really good value add.
80, 80 bed, 80 bed.
Oh, 80 bed, sorry.
Oh my goodness,
It is
that's
80.
big. Ooh.
It's 2 buildings, 40 beds each.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so that's our main focus at the moment. But we met with Lisa actually yesterday, did lunch downtown, and we're talking about how to maybe form a team here in Austin locally to get more of this residential stuff kicked off. And we all are a little bit stuck in a rut. So here we are.
Well,
I'm
maybe
interested in that. For you guys doing a GP?
Yeah, we're on the GPS the cap raise team, with a couple of other people.
You're
So,
interested in the assisted living asset, or you're interested in getting together in a team here in
Team.
Austin?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
so we're looking to try to put together a team here where we can start working together collectively on the residential side.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested in the assisted living piece. I mean, we've got 2 that live with us, so we're the assisted living right now.
Yeah.
We get to ship them off.
I understand the need, like it's ridiculous, it's crazy. And we're in Circle C here. Sorry not to derail everybody. And there's what, 5,000 homes here, Frank, something like that. And
Something
I
like
can't
that, yeah.
tell you how many times on the page people are like, anybody know any assisted living? Anybody know of any assisted living? Anybody know, you know?
well, so that's helpful to know because
Mhm.
if we start, our next step in this is to tackle the acquisition side on an assisted living somewhere locally here in Texas.
Mhm.
We've been approached to cap raise on one in New Braunfels. I don't know if that's too far for you guys. Being south, maybe it's not.
It's not.
It would, I mean, it's not far for us
It's an hour.
to work on the product, but I mean, for people to commute here, but it's a definite area of this whole corridor is something that lacks that type of service.
That's interesting. You'd think down south there'd be
Florida is
plenty of
also
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a good market to start in on an acquisition of something like that. And then residential assisted living is of interest to us too, where you take a larger home, maximum of
Yes.
16 beds, and you create a more comfortable space.
I like that.
There's been a lot of talk about that everywhere, it seems like lately. So
Yeah, I'm curious because I had another big dog approach me about the assisted living thing. I guess she went to Phil and Shanoa's thing last week in Austin, and she wants to build new. And so I'm designing a 16 bed unit because I used to build in Massachusetts. I built assisted living facilities for the state.
wow.
And so yeah, I was kind of like using, so we're designing something, and we're gonna try to sit down with Yulia and Bert and just say, hey, how can we maximize sort of the rents on these,
Yeah.
these facilities? And then I've got my designer doing a plan right now, and if we can kind of come up with a nice floor plan that works, that's attractive, and you can put in residential neighborhoods, which I think we can, have a full 16 bed facility. We can really we could probably build the more you build the same building over and over again, the cheaper it gets,
Yeah.
construction
At scale.
Frank and I have another couple we work with that's
You guys,
basically what they do.
I have an agenda
Oh,
here.
sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
offline maybe.
I want to
Let's schedule a call.
Josie down here. So Josie, do you want to actually make it a SMART goal? The SMART goal is specific, time bound, all those things, measurable. So like, do you want to reach 10 people this week or something to help bring it?
Oh yeah. I would say reach 25 or 30 people this week about that. We've already sent out kind of an email blast about that. We've got about 400 people in our CRM. So if you count email as reaching out, we've already done that. But calling 25 people this week would be
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, thanks. I'm gonna give my little motivational video here. I found Alex Hormozy again. I love this guy, and I've been pushing. Obviously, I think we've all been pushing, but I found myself at 11 o'clock last night watching training videos with Chris Alcido because I got a short sale specialist I'm trying to hook up with and figure out how all this works from my side of it.
But when you shared Layla Hermosi, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and Frank shared it with me, I wasn't on. I can't tell you how many videos. I'm like obsessed.
Oh,
They're
they're
amazing.
so
All right,
cool.
go. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. But I just hear there's a few minutes of Alex that kind of struck home with me for when nobody else is watching you, right?
When no one's watching, I work harder than when they're watching. And thinking about it like that has given me this persistent and ever-present scorecard or third party that's like, no one's watching, which means now you have to work because otherwise you're full of shit. The sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. The only person who can judge you on your success is you. You're the only one who knows how much left in the tank you really had. When you're stagnating in a business and you're plateaued and you don't know what to do, it's very painful. When you're declining and you also don't know what to do, it's very painful. And so that means that all conditions of reality are painful. If pain is a prerequisite for reality, then it means it's just a signal that we are alive. Rather than pain is a problem, it is a signal that I'm breathing. It just doesn't matter. You can work every hour of the day. The person who loves walking walks further than the person who loves the destination. I work all the time. That's all I do. And I work until I can't work. They're like, that's not healthy. I'm like, define healthy. I do as much as I can of the thing that I want to do every minute of my day. And I work harder now than I did when I was poor. And I think it's because I've learned to enjoy it. And most people say, I wouldn't live my life that way. You're always working, you're always doing these things. But it's like, I'm actually always spending my time in pursuit because in pursuit is my button for enjoyment. I will do enough work that there is nothing left to be done.
I feel like this doesn't feel like work to me.
No.
My day job, that's work.
Yeah, this feels like freedom to me.
Mhm.
Like I want, people are like, you gotta take time off. I'm like, go away. I got an agenda here. But if you guys looked at the email last night, it was talking about like close is close enough. I'm trying to parrot Phil there, right? And what we've been doing is during our home flips, trying to find just a quick way to estimate costs while you're sitting there in the living room, you know, going through somebody's 70% of ARV minus repairs. Well, how do you find those repairs? I've been told you take the big five out, so your HVAC, roof, electrical, foundation, plumbing, and then you're gonna be like $20 a square foot, kind of for a cosmetic, maybe a high-end flip or huge flip turnaround with lots of changes. You're gonna be 40 to 50 a square foot, not including those big five. And that's kind of penciled out pretty quick from what a lot of big dogs have told me. Shanoa did that quick too. But I thought we'd have Gary speak for about 10 minutes because this guy is just a wealth of information on everything builder everywhere. And he helped us out so much on a builder gone bad project where towards the end. And we've learned an incredible amount from Gary. Phyllis called me the other day too, saying, hey, how much is this rehab gonna cost? So I said, call Gary. Gary, go ahead, take it away, man.
Yeah, so first of all, yeah, when Chad asked me to do this in 10 minutes, I want to apologize. I'm going to try to keep this brief. There's so much in your that you kind of have to have in your head. I want to try to keep it simple and kind of make you guys comfortable with numbers. And you know, I could I used to, when I was teaching construction management, I mean, I would lecture 4 hours a night, 5 days a week for 2 years. And we're just scratching the surface on what these guys really need to learn to kind of get into the field to manage a construction project. So getting you guys kind of comfortable with, hey, I don't need to learn all that and I need to be okay. I thought the best way to kind of approach it would be, you know, just understanding how construction works. And, you know, if you have that range, I think, you know, it's hard if you were to come to me and say, hey, how much is this project? It's you can't look at a project and say, I don't know. I mean, my question when somebody asks me how much does it cost to build a house, my question always back at them is how much do you want to spend, right? You know, I can build a brand new home for maybe $110, $120 per square foot. I can build it for $1,200 a square foot. And it's not because I'm making more money at $1,200 a square foot. You're buying more expensive stuff. There's just that big of a range of items that go into a home that don't put it in this nice, neat little bubble. Now, from a flip perspective, it's kind of the same thing, right? you know, if you go in and it's like, hey, this thing doesn't pencil out at $30, $40, $50 a square foot, but it pencils out at 20 or 25, like that's okay. The challenge there is to make sure when you manage the project, you're designing the project around the $25 a square foot. Now, if you came and said, hey, we only got $10, I mean, maybe you can't really do anything, right? But it's just a matter of really kind of managing the scope. And so when you're negotiating, when you walk into a project that needs construction work done, you want to look at it just like you're a buyer, right? How do I vision myself living in this house? What needs to be done to make this house comfortable for me to live in? And I will tell you, there's only really two things that are 100% necessary on any construction project or any flip or any right to sell a house, because the only two things people care 100% about is cleanliness and paint. That's all people look at. Beyond that, it's you know, I mean, obviously, if there's damage or safety issues and there's some things that need to be done, you know, you got cabinet doors that are broken and need to be fixed. Those kind of things you can kind of think. But it's like, okay, what has to be done? You always have to clean the house. You're always going to have to paint it, right? Those things are always going to carry kind of a minimum cost, you know, between, you know, probably somewhere around $5 a square foot to do those things. You know, and then, you know, repairs, like Chad said, you know, finishes, $20 to $40. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that number is right or not. But I think it works. Right. And so when you're negotiating with a customer and it's like, man, this thing's filthy. It's a hoarder house. We gotta spend a ton of money cleaning things out. You know, hauling stuff out of here. Those kind of things. You can add, you know, you can add money, but how do you want to say this? Like you're trying to, I guess on a negotiation point, right? You're trying to get as much of that done as you can. You know, and then there's things you might want to do, right? Like, oh, this would be nice to have a new kitchen here, and this would be nice with taller cabinets. Those things don't generally add value to a home as an investor. But they might make the home easier to sell, right? And so from an investment side, you need to decide whether or not you need to spend that money to flip this house. Now, if you find, you know, as you're developing the scope, if you find, hey, you know, we can kind of get what we need to be done better here, and you've got some additional money that you want to spend to try to maximize some return, then you got to kind of look at things. What adds return, right? I mean, I guess Chad and I were just talking about this guy that wants to add a gazebo to his house in order to get a return. You're not going to get a return on a gazebo, right? There isn't a builder out there in the world building gazebos on new homes because they make money on gazebos. Those things don't add value, right? And so as an investor, you're going to kind of think through those things. What actually adds money? Paint and cleanliness always are necessity. You got to spend that no matter what, right? It's what do people care about? Appliances, right? Maybe you need some new appliances. They don't have to be high-end appliances. They've got to be new, functional, clean, that look like they don't have to have. And then people get worried about how much, when you're buying a home, right? The mechanical systems, right? What kind of work? And it's always the HVAC systems in Texas. I will tell you, every HVAC system in Texas needs to be replaced at a minimum every 15 to 20 years. If you go in and you see, and there's always a date on the sticker. If you ever got a question, and you don't know what you're looking at, just snap a photograph of the sticker and send it to somebody, send it to me, and you know, I'll tell you, you know, how old that system is. And you don't even need to evaluate if the system's working or not. If it's 20 years old, you probably have to replace it. And that's go ahead.
Can you hit those other 4 of the big 5? Just kind of review each and maybe how to do a rough estimate of the cost.
Yeah. So a foundation issues probably always going to cost you at least 10 grand, maybe 20, depending on how bad it is. Electrical, you're generally not going to have too many problems with electrical systems, right? And by that, like, we're not talking
Aluminum
about,
wire, Gary.
what's that?
But we hit like older homes in Dallas all the time. What about aluminum wires?
Yeah, aluminum wires are fine, as long as they're in good condition. You know, like you don't, as an investment, it depends what you're trying to get out of the property, right? Aluminum wire is functional, it's cheap. But I wouldn't necessarily replace it just because it's aluminum, because that's just cost. The biggest thing with plumbing here in Dallas is older homes that have cast iron systems. You're always going to want to have a camera done in the drain lines. Might cost you a little bit of money to have the camera work done, but that's part of your kind of due diligence. Those things can be pretty pricey. Those that you know, to replace your drains, you got guys tunneling under a house, replacing all those drain lines. That is a minimum $30,000 job, maybe 50.
You can do a hydrostatic test too, right? To
What's
check
that?
the hydrostatic test will check pressure, right? For that to see if there's any leak or problem.
Cameras, I think the camera's better. So what, your plumbing systems, you've got, because those cast iron drains can, I mean, like, when you say hydrostatic test, I'm not really sure.
They just pressurize it to see if there's integrity. So before you go, doing all your floors, if you got a slab, you know that there's a problem. The pier and beam I really like.
I would always run a camera. You know, those we do those hydrostatic tests when you're building new, because you got to pressurize the systems. So when you're talking about the plumbing system, there's different sections of it. You've got the drains, right? The wastewater. You've got the water supply, right? Those two systems are completely independent of each other. And then you've got what we call top out, or the vent system. So that's everything above slab going through the roof. And so I'm specifically talking about the drains under the house. So the hydrostatic test is going to test the pressure of the entire system to make sure there's no leaks. But if the system's all tight and you've got a drain that's completely clogged, it might pass, right? So the camera is going to find out where those breaks are, see if those cast iron lines are kind of caved in. The hydrostatic test, if the drains are good, I would say you can do both, but I don't know that you necessarily need a hydrostatic test unless you have leaks somewhere, if that makes sense. If you see visible water damage somewhere and there's plumbing in the area, then maybe that would work.
Okay.
How
do we
go ahead.
Estimate a roof cost?
If you wanted to spend, $75, you can go on Eagle View and just do it. It'll tell you exactly what it's going to cost. The satellite imagery, and it'll give you a report and tell you exactly how many squares are, and then you can just do the roof cost from there. Because it really comes down to the square. And by square, a square in roofing is it's 100 square feet, a 10 by 10 area.
Oh yeah, because a flat roof's going to have a lot less squares than pitches everywhere.
Right. And Eagle View will take all that into account, and it'll do a full takeoff, and you can actually order materials from it. That thing's pretty accurate. I think it costs like $70, something like that, to do that. And so, and I can work off that. Like if you send that to me, I can work off that. Now there's and the other thing is trades, right? Like you've got, I can tell you, an average roof, I guess it depends on the size of the house, right? Like if you're looking at kind of an average Collin County house, you're looking at about 25 to 30 grand to replace a roof. Now that's retail, right?
We don't do retail, Gary.
I know. So, but if you're calling roofing companies that are advertising and are in the phone book, those are the prices you're going to get. Yeah. Right. So how do you find, so there's a whole nother topic, right? How do you find trades that aren't going to charge you that? Right.
There's a lot of topics with this, including if we go back to it, you could help with scope, and that company cam was awesome, especially to follow the Gary gave us guidance on timelines and chapter 27, which I didn't even know existed, and it worked out perfectly when we presented all our stuff to the lawyer, just based on what Gary said. But this company cam's super cool. You go take a picture of everything that's wrong, and then submit it all to your builder and you can print it out in a big paper. That thing really helped.
Yeah, and yeah, if we're actually like, so yeah, so going through a project, there's so many steps, right? Like, how do you cover all this in 10 minutes? I think,
I was just trying to hit the basic cost
yeah,
estimate. So you're sitting there with a seller, you know, 30 bucks a square foot, plus it needs a roof. Oh, this is going to be an $80,000 project. That's what I can contract with. That's where like close is close enough. You can always renegotiate, right? Get it down, bill it down in a better estimator.
yeah, and when you're going to negotiate with a seller, you always want to be on the high side anyway, right? And don't worry about missing stuff. You know, it's what do we say? So HVAC we talked about. HVAC is going to be about $15,000 per 5 tons.
Retail?
No, that's cost installation.
All right. If 5,000 per 5 tons, is that what you just said?
15,000 per 5 tons to replace.
Okay. That's good to know.
Right. And you need, in every house. Now, the other thing, a lot of these homes are undersized, right? And you need 500. I'm sorry. You need 1 ton per 500 square feet. So if you've got a 3,000 square foot home and it's got a 5-ton system in it, you need more tonnage. Right. And some people tell you, well, you can go up to 700, 750 square feet, whatever you can, but those systems struggle, right? Especially in this Dallas heat, or Texas heat. So you always want to kind of keep that 500 square feet per ton in your mind, and know that they don't have a system more than 5 tons. So once you get to, 3,000 square feet, you need a second system.
What is a ton of what? A ton of air?
Yeah, so they're managing tons. So if you look at your condenser outside, it'll tell you how many tons the system is. It's the rating. It's how they rate the amount of, I don't even actually know what it's measuring to be, if I'm being totally honest with you.
I'm just gonna go with it blows a ton of air.
Yeah, it could be. That's a good question. I don't know if I've ever asked that.
Can I add just something to this piece of the conversation? Because I had this, I think, if you increase the airflow, but the duct system isn't built to handle the airflow, is that an issue here? Because I ran into that problem in a property I had.
Yeah, so it could be.
Bigger's not always better if the duct work doesn't accommodate for the increased airflow.
Right. And duct work, like in new homes, there's always a lot more duct work in new construction than there is in older homes.
Right.
Because a lot of the newer homes, they're doing returns in every room to kind of compensate for some of that negative pressure.
Yeah.
And that just helps with airflow. So the air has to flow freely. So it's kind of, think of it like plumbing, right? If you've got volume and you've got pressure, right? So pressure is great, but if you don't have the volume, it's not going to work. Air works the same way. Electricity works the same way. Voltage and amps are the same thing in electricity, right? You think of amps like volume and voltage like pressure. It kind of works the same exact way.
Right.
So yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Like, how are these things undersized? There's a ton of homes here that are built without permitting, I guess, especially back if they're built in the 70s, 80s. And then the energy codes with HVAC, those all changed in 2017. If you've got something pre-2017, which you're probably 100% of the time going to have on a flip, completely different set of rules than what we have today for building.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you guys, but Mara, you got 1 minute left. Do you want to throw out something this week?
Yeah, real quick, just really working on, we're still in the middle of our boot camp for commercials. So we are, I think, going to LOI tonight. Scares me a little bit, but that's fine. They actually decided on a property that I found. So it's very interesting. It's a commercial property in San Antonio. And so just really been heads down with that. But Frank's done such a good job of setting up our single family business that I just jump on when needed, when people respond or are looking for help with their house. So that's really, my thing is just getting through the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The LOI this week would be a smart goal because that's by the end of the week you can see.
So, eek, yeah.
I might be doing the same with the mobile home park this week. And
Nice. That's my
That's
goal.
exciting.
When I grow up, I want to be Chad.
yeah, right.
So
Awesome.
thank you guys. Have a great day.
You too. Have a great week.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Wow.
But I would say just to kind of sum up the easiest thing, if you when you're doing your due diligence and you know you're making an offer and you're estimating repair values, the easiest thing to do would be define the project scope, come up with a budget, and send it to me. And I can actually make just about any budget work with any scope within reason. If there's problems, I'll let you know. If there's efficiencies that can be gained in certain areas, I'll work with you on that too. So if you think of me like kind of as a contract, like if you do that with a regular contractor and you tell them, hey, here's my budget, they're gonna be like, oh, okay. And I would do this as well with a normal customer, right? Okay, well, if this is what you want to spend, this is what we can do, right? Hey, we've got 4 plumbing fixtures to buy, and we've got and I'll break that scope into percentages and I'll apply budgets to each and every one of those things. If your budget allows for, you know, $300 bathroom fixtures, that's what we got to shop within, right? If there's not enough money there for certain things, we can kind of move some things around. But like I will make that work, and then you can kind of decide from there. Okay, do I need to spend $300? I can buy $200 ones, and then you can save some money. Or man, this is a higher end area. We might want to spend a little bit more in order to sell this thing. You know, you throw a few $100, whatever. We can kind of work through those things. But if you define a scope, say this is what needs to be done, and that's really easy. Anybody can do that because just pretend you're the buyer. What do I want this thing to look like? These are the things I feel like it needs to be done for me to live in this house. That's the way a normal buyer is going to think anyway when you're trying to resell this thing. And then whatever budget you come up with, like I said, if you're, what was the number you said, between $20 and $40, $45 a square foot for finishes, and then kind of add those big items on. Every one of those big items is going to be at least 10 grand. You know,
The other thing huge that we learned that we accidentally did is that 10% holdback. Don't ever finish a project without holding back 10% until it's fully complete, and don't let the builder bully you into paying ahead of time, right?
Yeah, so if I'm doing the project correctly, and this is what Chad ran into, right? If I'm managing my project correctly, I'm gonna have between 10 and 15% profit in my job. If I'm not making 10 or 15% off a job, it's not really worth doing the job for, right? I mean, everybody, you know, businesses are in business to make profit, right? And so you as a customer should be holding back 10% until the job's 100% done.
That's
if I'm not paying my bills, but buying the materials and paying the trades with the money you're paying me, then I'm doing it wrong. So if you owe me less than 10% on the job and it's not done, and I'm telling you I need money in order to pay my subs or buy materials to finish the job, that's kind of my problem, right? See what I'm saying? Like you don't, and that's, I think that's what Chad ran into, is this guy's like, oh man, I got to pay these guys. They're bugging. Well, now you're putting yourself in a position where they might lien the property and he's not managing the project properly. So you don't want to underpay your contractor. And I know as an investor, it's like, hey, I want this thing done as cheap as possible. But if you're underpaying him and his margins are so thin that he needs all that money to get this project done up front, you are kind of creating a problem for not only the contractor, it might be his fault, but does that make sense? Like
yeah,
that last 10% should be all profit, and he should not need that money until the project's 100% done.
From our perspective too, this builder, he got it 90% there, and he's like, well, you got to pay me the rest of the job for me to do the work. I'm like, no, actually, we're required to hold back. And he didn't know about that either. So he quit doing the work because we didn't pay him the 10%, but he screwed a bunch of stuff up. So it's working out in our favor. I think, yeah, thanks, Gary. Does if nobody has specific questions though for you, then I was gonna start jumping into everybody's goals for the week. We've got 25 minutes left. So does anybody have any specific questions for Gary? Okay.
No specific questions for Gary. Our goals for we have a very short week because we're driving to Michigan on Wednesday. So we leave Wednesday afternoon. And then we'll be gone for 10 days. So we probably won't make next Monday's meeting. Yeah, definitely won't make next Monday's meeting. But our goals are building this team. So our goal is to build a team of people in the Austin area that's going to work together on multifamily as a collective, and not a multifamily, on residential as a collective. So that's the one thing. And chatting with Lisa yesterday, and Wade, who's another guy on our team. It's just, there's pockets of time that are currently available because of all of our extra things that we have going on. So we just need more people involved in the process. And I'd rather have people that are local than VAs that are remote in a distant country. So, and so we're working on that pretty heavily.
You need something measurable and time bound.
Well, I understand that. Time bound is this week.
Okay, gotcha. What's the measurable part?
This week? What's that?
What can we do to measure it? Like,
well, the measuring is adding bodies with tasks. So I don't have the list of tasks yet, but we understand we've got cold calling, we've got door knocking, and contract writing. Those are the primary sticks. And so
you're
measuring what we don't know. Single family stuff, yeah, residential.
The contracting part, here's something that we were talking about that's interesting is I met with Armando, and he was doing contract coordinating when he first started for $1,500. So I thought that'd be a fun way, or a good way to learn it a couple times, if you can volunteer for other people's transactions, to do that a few times. Something I don't want to do, but Jen was thinking about doing because she's doing it for us. And then you can train a VA to do it instead of paying other big dogs $1,500. Just a thought.
So Armando was doing contract coordinating?
Yeah, he was doing transaction coordinator when he first started for Grant a lot. He said he was doing $1,500 a transaction. So that was an idea. Get more exposure. It might help us get more deals too, but there's a lot to go with that, and I don't want to do that stuff. I hate doing that stuff.
Be a great thing for you or I, Lisa.
I was just gonna say, so yeah, that would be.
Kyle, we're still working on interviews a lot with Egyptian cold callers. If I find somebody awesome, I have several people in mind to talk to you guys about if you need them.
By the way, I finished my book.
Writing it?
Yeah, and it's on Amazon, waiting for me to get the preview copies to review to make sure it looks good.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on that. I'd like to put a book on Amazon someday.
Yep. So
I started one years ago and quit.
Yeah, Josie did too, and so we're going to regurgitate that here pretty quick.
Cool. I'd like to read it.
Yeah, this book is Operational Maturity: The Sharp Knife of Business Success.
Nice. That's awesome.
Lisa read the intro and part of chapter 1.
Very cool. Lisa, you want to? Sorry, Kyle.
Go ahead. I'm done.
All right,
Yeah.
cool, man. Lisa, welcome. I don't know if you're familiar with SMART goals or if you use them or like them, but we've been trying to push them more, towards specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, to just try to get us to continue to move forward and pull the levers that matter the most for us in business.
Yes. Yes. I often forget what all the letters stand for, but I know that acronym. Yes. So first of all, I'm going to say, Kyle and Josie, you at least met one measurable goal, because I'm on the call this morning. So, and I'm local to Austin and am very interested in working the residential component of the program, also doing commercial. So to share, I actually no longer have my W-2 job as of last Tuesday. So I am now, well, it wasn't necessarily a timed choice, but here I am. So I can be your people, because I did residential real estate for 8 years, both in Illinois and in Alabama, during 2004 to 2011. So I've certainly been through some interesting market trends. I do like the coordination of most things detailed. So I can do that. I can go visit properties. I can work with Gary, and do so. So I'm rebuilding my income stream life now. So in any case, I'll put that out there. And my SMART goals, since I have not yet finished the 12-week residential boot camp that from the Big Dog, program. So my goal is to, I guess this week, do at least the first month's worth between now and next Monday.
That's such good training. I want to redo it. I think within the next do all of it. It's so good.
Yeah. So I don't know is that a lot? That might be lofty. I don't know how many hours of work that is, but at least to get through.
It's 5 hours a week, roughly.
Oh, okay. 5 hours a week. So yeah, between now and next Monday, I should be able to do that.
I would think so.
Well, that's the goal. And if I hit the goal, great. That the whole point is to be in action. So that's my goal.
Awesome. Well, I hope to see you here next Monday.
I will be here.
Joseph, you want to jump in here, introduce yourself, say hi.
Oh, thank you, Chad, and the rest of the team. I'm at the hotel, so there may be noise at the background. Well, I attended the Big Dog meeting somewhere May, June this year, and actually, I'm still going through the training. I haven't started anything yet, but I've had like a couple of residential rentals before, and I have a 8 to 5 full-time job that is taking my time out, which I would like to get out in future. And I'm glad to join this group. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, glad to have you. Seems like Big Dog seems to be at least the Texas epicenter for quitting your W-2.
Right.
Yes, awesome. Gary, Alexis, and Amy, anybody jump in there? You guys, Gary, thanks for talking through that. And we never hit any goals for you for the week. If you guys want to all do that and kind of throw them out there.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll just say if you guys are interested in actually having a more formal kind of structured approach to this, I can spend some time and put something together. But like I said, there's so much. I would need some input from you guys of where you want me to focus. So we're not just, I mean, like I said, I can lecture for hours on this stuff. There's so much to it, but if there's stuff specific you want to know about, then let me know. I'll put something together. I'd be happy to kind of get on a call with you or a bunch of you, or we can set up a different time, whatever. But as far as my goals, I need to, I think my goal here is to put together some, I got so many big things working in resident, it's a little different for me than a lot of you guys. I'm looking at the residential side of it, and I almost need to treat the funding of it like commercial. Kind of like where you're syndicating some money. I mean, we've got one, I've got one homeowner right now. It's a landowner in Allen. He's got a great piece of property he bought in 2003. For whatever reason, he never built on it. And he wants to sell the property. And I think the goal here is to kind of, and now it's surrounded by $1.4 million homes. But we can get 24 homes on this one property right in Allen in the middle of everything. And it's like, and he's willing to kind of partner on the deal as the landowner, which is great. I don't know of one lender. Well, you almost need to kind of want to syndicate something to kind of do some of this. Now, the great thing about projects is like this is you don't need a lot of money to start it. You can kind of use the sales of some of these houses to cash flow the project. But you do need some investment up front, and with the landowner on board with willing to partner along the way, you've got a ton of collateral and he's got a ton of property, I mean, and so it should be relatively easy to put together if we can kind of raise the capital for it. I don't know. We just kind of met with him last week. So we're kind of brainstorming how to structure this thing. Man, I need to develop a pool of some private money lenders that can look at these things, and we can kind of collectively go after them. Unless somebody's just got millions of dollars laying around that they're willing to spend.
As Joseph and Lisa were talking about the training, one of the things I really wish I would have been more consistent about is every single week you're supposed to contact 10 new investors, 10 new premium buyers. And when I went to dispo this property, that would have been really helpful.
Wait a minute. So say that again.
Yeah.
Where did you said that?
In the big dog training, every single week from now until forever, you're supposed to contact 10 new premium buyers, 10 new investors. And it's the prime the pump. Hey, if I see any really good deals, do you want to see them? And it takes the awkwardness out of capital raising. But you out, Kyle? Yeah, later. You were saying it's kind of like run by similar to a syndication. And I see a lot of the wholesale teams, dispo teams, where they're running it like a syndication with a team of 4 to 6 people. And so I'm trying to, as we go and we get more deals and stir up more crap, see how that falls into place for us as well. Because if you're talking about like the hunters and the skinners, I'm a hunter. I want to go talk to people and get deals and close deals, but then I don't want to take it to the finish line. I hate that part. So we're also trying to patch that together, and then that part of that is capital partners, right?
Mhm.
Who's going to buy your property when you get it? So, but yeah, I think the more deals we stir up, the more that'll kind of reveal itself too.
Yeah, and to that point, and so that's one of my goals is I need to start doing that because I'm not doing that right now. So 10 a week feels
throw a
like
number out there, man. You got, make it smart.
yeah. I mean, maybe we should start with 2 a week.
Yeah. 2 contacts.
Yeah, one of the things, and I mentioned this to Chad, and it might be of interest to you guys as well. I was on the phone with Daniel Tersey, and in October they're doing that alternative asset summit in Scottsdale, and he said he was mentioning that he had somebody say to him, he's like, "Hey, he goes, I had 100% of all of my deals funded by just your clientele," and so he was encouraging me to come out just to network with everybody going to the summit.
That's a great thing.
I think I can get more than I don't know how many people are going to be there, but I want to get 100 names on a list and say exactly that. Hey, I'm a contract when doing stuff and da. Can I send you my deals? Do those interest you? I mean, and I mean that's the group of people that I think would be interested in looking at them, and that's pretty, like I said, unevasive, right? I don't have anything right now, but like can I put you on my business?
Yeah. And then the auction. I went to this auction last week. And I was just handing out my card, and several people contacted me. So now they're in my premium buyer school. So, let's let Amy and Alexis jump on here. But Gary, you need to make blank contacts by the end of what blank time or something like that to, make, I don't know, 10 contacts by the end of Saturday night for premium buyers or something like that.
I need to create one list of 100 premium lenders.
By when?
Huh?
By when?
Well, I would say I want 100 by October, but let me work on 2 a week, and then that if I can get 100 at that 2-day event, that'd be 50 a day. I mean, that I think that'd be a good start.
All right. Well, by Monday you got to have at least 2.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Amy or Alexis? Hey guys, haven't heard from you either one all day.
I can go first. Oh,
I was gonna say I would let Alexis go first.
oh, okay.
Before you, no, just kidding.
Oh,
She's much younger than me.
well, I have a lot of goals this week. Just for, I don't know, just for like everything. Like I've got my real estate school. I want to work on doing an hour and a half of foreclosure, just like focusing on foreclosure, just like an hour and a half of either cold calling or getting like emails together or texting or just like focusing on that just for an hour and a half every single day. So I don't know if I could really put like a timeline on that. I just want to do it every day. But for when I do have a timeline on is my real estate school. I have a final exam today, and then I've got another one at the end of the week, I think Sunday. So by Sunday 5 o'clock I'll have 2 exams done. So there you go.
And that'll be 4 of 6 for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're almost there.
Yeah, I'm flying through these next ones because the math part is over. The math part was the hard part. It took the longest. It took like 2.5 weeks. But these other ones take like a week. So yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
I hope Jen gets back into the studying on that. It'd be nice to get that done.
Oh, I was gonna tell her, I guess when you talk to her next, you can tell her I looked into it to see if Florida will transfer into like any Florida will transfer into Texas, and none of it does. She was right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I looked, and so she's gonna have to restart the entire thing, which is honestly horrible. She has to do that all again.
Once it's done, it's done.
Yeah. Ugh, just sucks. You have to do it again. But yeah. Yeah, and I'm gonna start on my big dog training as well this week. I'm just gonna restart the whole thing. I mean I got a good amount into it, but then I stopped. But we're all just gonna restart this week.
Well, besides Phil's videos, that special topics in the Dropbox.
Yeah.
Salcedo talks and stuff. There's really good information in all those videos with the short sale process, foreclosure, title, all that. It's awesome. Awesome info. But,
yeah, I'll look into that too.
Amy, how many do you have? Like 9 contracts since last week?
Well, first I was going to touch base on what you were saying about the buyer's box. I created that Google Docs sheet that just had how to dispo rules, and also putting buyers in there. I've just added more, and I have more to add to it, but I just again want to invite everyone to participate in that. If we put all of ours together, we've got nothing to lose on that end. So last week my goal was to get 3 contracts, and I thought I was going to come this morning and say I was a failure that I only got 2, but I got my 3rd contract signed this morning when I sat down. So 3 contracts signed last week. So I'm speaking everything to existence to this group. So my SMART goals this week is I've got a dispo 3. So I've already created email blasts for end buyers, for flippers and landlords based on the investor base list that I purchased. And so now it is on the phone. So my plan is to make at least 200 calls to investors this week, because it's just going to be constant calling
trying to get them on the phone and get these places dispoed. So I have my partner is also making 200 calls. So there's a lot of phone calling going on to get these disposed. That's what the companies are doing. You know, they call twice, text, email, every investor they have on their list. So it's a lot of phone time for me this week. 200 calls. And then I hope to get 2 more contracts this week too.
Wow. I hope you do too.
Mhm.
I've had that guy at Northwestern or New Western that we've been.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I was going to call you after this. Yeah.
I'll give you his number. I also have a couple premium buyers that were actually like bidding, writing the checks for the auction properties that I can pass along to you too now, I think.
Okay.
And Amy, where are the properties, the contracts? Where are they?
There's the ones that I got this week are in Dallas, Leander, and Marble Falls, lakefront property.
What was the last place? What falls?
Marble Falls.
Yeah, right. I'd be interested to just see what those look like for myself.
So I'm trying on the other 2. Since I got one this weekend and one today, I got to figure out how I'm dispoing the fund, partnering with somebody to get that done. But I was trying to dispo the one on Lake LBJ on our own. That's the one we're focusing on, just to get that experience to see if it's worth it, and hopefully it will be, because we get to keep more money in our pockets.
Yeah. We're still waiting on this stupid deal to close this week, hopefully. But
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the payoff from the bank. Everything's set for that, but God, there's been so many twists and turns in this one. If I also threw out, I was just thinking, Lisa, I threw out my phone number. I'd like to talk to you some more, but if anybody needs foreclosure leads, we got foreclosure leads, and we're just sharing them with this group right now for free to kind of like dangle the carrot. First one's free. But no, even not the first one. If you need leads this week and you don't have any good ones, let me know. I knocked 3 doors on Saturday when the foreclosure notice came out on the Saturday. I was there at their door.
Okay. And Chad, where are you located?
Dallas and then Jacksonville, Florida. I go back and forth about every week.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that would be great. Yes, I'd love to talk. I'm happy to do door knocking. I just won't do it by myself.
I don't blame you. And if I'm not around, Jen has the same issue. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's been one of my big roadblocks is just, finding somebody to go with, because I'm about this big.
Phyllis went with me Saturday. She's cool. She has a W-2 or she'd be here. She's a like EMS ambulance driver, so she's really comfortable going in people's houses and knocking on doors and stuff.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and if you want, whenever you want, let's figure out a time to chat. That'd be great.
Okay. Can you just text me or something?
Oh, sure. I absolutely. Yes, I will.
Hey.
Do that right now.
And then my smart goal I threw one out for August is to get another contract. We have 200 contract right now. Hopefully one will go away this week. We're doing our first novation, and it looks like this lady we've been bugging the living hell out of since last week. Hopefully we'll sign up on tomorrow. It keeps going tomorrow, but she likes us, and I'm working with Abby Argwal on that one. He's been awesome. I threw a problem out on the Facebook page and he answered, and I really like the guy. Really, he helped me if we get the deal closed. So we'll see. That's my smart goal is get another contract by the end of August, at least one signed up, whether it falls through or not. I just want one more under contract.
Thanks for organizing us.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn the recording off.